Most people use credit cards completely wrong. In this video, I'm breaking down the ultimate beginner's guide to using a credit card the smartest way. Stay with me because by the end of this video, we're going to expose a hidden timing trap buried in your credit card statement and why paying on your due date could actually be hurting your credit score. I'll also show you which days to pay your bill to maximize your score to avoid paying more when you borrow money for future loans. Okay, let's get started. First thing first, swipe it, don't stash it. It sounds obvious, right? But you'll be shocked by how many people go through the hassle of applying for a credit card, get approved, and then completely forget to use it. But think of your credit score like your reputation. If you never borrow money, banks have no idea if you're trustworthy. By using your credit card for small things and paying them off, you're showing the banks, hey, look, I can borrow money and pay back on time every single time. When banks trust you, life gets a whole lot cheaper. It means easier apartment approvals, better rates on a car loan, and a lower mortgage when buying a house. Plus, every time you use cash or a debit card, you are leaving free money on the table. If you put your daily expenses like groceries or gas onto a credit card with rewards, you get points or cash back for money you're going to spend anyway. Say, if you spend $2,000 a month on normal living expenses and use a card with 2% cashback, which is a pretty common cashback offer, that is a $480 straight back into your pocket every year. If you're struggling with overspending, that's another story. But if you're not, then credit cards are your friends. Finally, credit cards can also act like a financial shield for your bank account. When you swipe a debit card, that money is swiped directly out of your checking account. So if a scammer steals your debit card information, your actual cash is gone. You have to fight the bank and wait to get your money back while they investigate. But when you use a credit card, you're spending the bank's money first. If someone steals your identity, you just click dispute on the app. The bank freezes the charge and your real money never leaves your account. Now, you might be thinking, okay, what if I already have a credit card and I just let it sit in a drawer? It's not hurting anything, right? Actually, it is. If you leave a credit card sitting inactive for too long, usually around 1 to 2 years, depending on the bank, your account might be closed. And guess what? A bank closing your card can absolutely lower your credit score. This is because around 15% of your score comes from the length of your credit history. If the bank forces your account to be closed, you lose that history and your average account age drops. That's why your score takes a hit. What if you genuinely don't want a specific credit card anymore? A lot of people make the mistake of proactively calling up the bank and closing out old accounts because they think it cleans up their finances. But don't do it. If the card has no annual fees, it costs you absolutely nothing to keep it. And leaving it open does two incredible things for you. First, it preserves your long credit history. And second, it keeps your total credit limit high, which makes you look much safer to lenders. So my personal choice is just to keep my oldest and no-fee cards open forever. I just link it to a small recurring bill like a phone bill or a small subscription and set up auto payment of the full balance every month. And then my card stays active, my credit history stays safe, and it requires zero effort from me. Okay, on to the second thing you need to know if you have credit cards, and it's to keep your credit utilization ratio low. Credit utilization is one of the biggest factors that controls your credit score. It contributes to about 30% of it. But what even is it? Don't let the fancy name scare you. It's just the percentage of your total credit limit that you're actually using. Imagine you have two credit cards. Card A has a $1,000 limit, and you have a $400 balance on it. And Card B has a $2,000 limit, and you have a $200 balance on it. If you add them together, your total balance is $600, and your total available credit is $3,000. You divide $600 by $3,000, and there you go. You're using exactly 20% of your credit. And the golden rule here is simple. Stay under 30% of your limit. And this is because, according to data from Experian, around 30% is where your credit score starts to take a hit. In fact, people with the highest credit scores in the world usually keeps this number in the single digits. Now, counterintuitively, you don't want this number to be 0% because 0% score tells bank nothing about your habits, but banks want to see that you're actively using the card and paying it off responsibly. So, aiming for just above 0%, even just 1% is actually better than 0. Now, how do you actually keep that number low? Well, based on the definition of credit utilization, you can either decrease your balance or increase your limit, or both. To lower your balance, it doesn't mean that you can't swipe your card as much as you want. You just need to understand the timing of when banks report your data to the credit bureaus. Most people think that as long as they pay their bill in full by the due date, their credit score is safe, but that is a trap. Let's look at an example statement. Let's say your bank prepares your monthly statement on May the 25th, which is also the day they sent the statement to you. But your official payment due date isn't until June the 19th, which is about 3 weeks later. Here's the catch. The bank doesn't wait until June the 19th to tell the credit bureaus of how much you owe. They report your balance around May the 25th, the same day your statement closes and is sent to you. So if you went crazy shopping in May, the bank reports a massive balance to the credit bureaus on May the 25th, which makes your utilization seem extremely high, even if you paid off entirely 3 weeks later on June the 19th. To beat them at your own game, just make a payment before the statement closing date, in this case, before May the 25th. That wipes out the balance before the credit bureaus ever see it. But don't pay it down to absolutely 0 before statement closing date. Why? I'll explain it later in this video in just a couple minutes. Another way to lower your utilization ratio is to make your total credit limit bigger. And this is how you do it. If you've had your card for a while and have a great track record, just give your bank a call. If they bump your limit from, say, $5,000 to $10,000, your utilization automatically cuts in half. If your income increases, make sure to update that information in your online portal. The bank won't know it if you don't say it. If you share finances with a spouse or partner, you can often report your total household income, which can trigger an automatic limit increase. Of course, you can also get a brand new credit card. This instantly adds to your total available credit pool. But don't open cards just for the limit boost. It's a nice perk if you're already planning on grabbing a card. Finally, if you have an old card with no annual fees, keep it open. This ties back to what we were saying earlier because old cards' credit limits helps keep your overall utilization low. Now time for the third thing to pay attention to when using your credit cards, which is your payment history. Your payment history accounts for around 35% of your total credit score. It's the single most important factor. If you mess this up, your credit scores can be destroyed. But the thing is, every time you get your bill, the banks try to put a little psychological trick on you. Let's pull up that statement from earlier. You're going to see two completely different numbers in the statement. The first one is your full balance. In this example, it's $1,717. And the second is your minimum payment, which is $25 here. But if you think that you only have to pay that tiny amount of $25, you're absolutely wrong. While the minimum payment is usually around 1 to 3% of the full balance and is simply the absolute bare minimum the bank requires to keep your account in good standing. If you pay just that $25 by the due date, which is June the 19th in this case, your account stays current. That's good. You'll avoid late fees and your credit score won't get dinged for a missed payment. But the remaining balance stays on your card and the bank starts charging you interest on it. Credit card interest is ridiculously high. It's called APR and is usually anywhere from 17% to 30%. And carrying a balance month to month is exactly how people wake up buried in high interest debt. On this specific statement, the APR is 18.24%, as you can see here. If you only pay the $25 minimum and let that remaining balance sit, in just the first month, you're going to owe the bank an extra $23.47 in interest. If you let it snowball over the year, you'll end up throwing away over $300 just the interest. That's pure profit for a bank and pure loss for you. To avoid this trap completely, one solution is to set up autopay. There are different ways to do this, and you have to choose the right strategy for yourself. For the first strategy, I call it the peace of mind route. You set up your account to automatically pay the full statement balance on the actual due date. The result? Zero interest, zero late fees, and the perfect payment history is completely hands-off. But as we talked about this earlier in this video, there's one problem here. The bank reports your balance to the credit bureaus on the statement closing day, not payment due day. And it means that they're reporting that full balance before it gets paid off. If your credit limit is low, that hurts your utilization score for that month. So if you want to optimize your score to the absolute max, you use this next strategy. So strategy number 2 is where you play the timing game we hinted at earlier. Imagine that your total credit limit is $10,000. Here's how it works. Step 1, you use your card normally. Step 2, a few days before your statement closing date, let's say May the 22nd, you log in and manually pay off most of the balance, say $1,600. And that leaves just $117.39 on the card. Step 3, on May the 25th, the bank generates your statement. Because it also sends your credit utilization to the credit bureaus on the same day, it reports a balance of just $117.39. In other words, your reported utilization is a beautiful 1.17%. Step 4, your autopay then cleans up that final $117 on the June 19th due date. The result, you get a world-class credit score, zero interest, and total optimization. Now, full disclosure, strategy 2 takes work. You have to monitor your accounts and log in at least 1 to 2 times per month. If you are applying for a mortgage or a big auto loan in the next few months, it's probably worth doing. But if you're just living your life, maybe strategy 1 is perfectly fine. No matter which strategy you choose, none of these works without one final rule. Only spend money you actually have in your checking account. Treat your credit card exactly like a debit card. If the cash isn't in your bank account right now, don't swipe the plastic. At the end of the day, a credit card is just a tool. In the wrong hands, it's a trap. But in your hands, now that you know the rules, it's a massive financial advantage. But before you go, I want to hear from you. Are you team strategy 1, setting up autopay and forgetting about it? Or are you going to try strategy 2 to maximize your credit score? Drop your choice in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.